Now, when I hear the words medieval simulation, obviously the first thing I think about is, can I play as a medieval female knight that's stronger, better, and more sophisticated than men, and needs to prove everyone that women are far more, and not in fact equal, but more capable than men? Yes, that is obviously the first thing I do. Also, the second thing I think about is the fact that, oh boy, how can I make a game that's literally going to be allergic to making money? And then we have, this is our current situation. Doesn't it sound absolutely amazing?
A few weeks ago, the Access media was shilling up and down for 1348X photos simply because it checked boxes on their checklist, not because it looked like a good game. And that means that now, as several weeks have passed, nobody's talking about this title anymore. Nobody is wishlisting it anymore, and there's no hype leading up to its release in just a few weeks. But it looks
And there was no hype to begin with, because these people just lie. This is what they do. They try to gaslight us into believing, oh, look at all of these people caring and wishlisting Xvoto 1348 or whatever the title was. There's so many of them. And the reality is, it's not real. They're gonna say, oh wow, it's top 10 wish list. Yeah, because there's literally not a single game releasing in the next month. There has not been a single announcement in the previous month. You're the only game that has been announced, and you're currently being pushed down my throat by the corrupt Axis media that literally doesn't care what they say as long as someone pays them, and that aligns with their stupid political beliefs. So no, I am not going to be excited about this because I know you're lying. Everyone, in fact, knows that you're lying.
like Knight's Path has still got a lot of momentum behind it, as now they've announced they've passed 300,000 wish lists, which is insane. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, last year I had interviews.
Like the video right now. It takes less than a second. Thank you for everyone who supports the channel. It does make a huge difference, so thank you. And like the video right now. Again, it takes less than a second. Maybe even subscribe.
The lead developer behind Knight's Path, and it seemed like an extremely promising title. I'm so glad it is getting the recognition it deserves, but this all started simply because they said they do not want to focus on modern day agendas. They don't want this to be a game about politics. They want it to be a piece of entertainment, which is amazing because video games are a form of escapism, and they should stay that way. Sure, there are definitely games that have
Well, not according to the beliefs of some very delusional people.
political messages behind them, or they touch on general themes like good versus evil, which isn't bad if that's a type of experience you want. But in this case, they don't want that. And that doesn't mean they should be attacked based on that. But
Wokeness can never accept the idea that there is good and evil, because that would instantaneously put them on the side of evil and corruption.
the media found it a sticking point, and 1348X Voto did as well. They tried to use this controversy that they created in order to gain a few more sales, gain a little bit more hype, because 1348X Voto releases in the middle of March, and nobody's really talking about it except for the media who is shilling. And now that they
And no one cares. I absolutely could not care less what some kind of media news outlet is going to tell me to believe, okay? They said Epstein is not a real thing, okay? They said that game is good. Now, they lie. They constantly lie, and they think that we're stupid and we're going to keep on eating their lies. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
there's no more controversy, their wish lists have stagnated, but in the case of Knight's Path, this hasn't happened. This is a game that currently does not even have a release date. We don't know when it's going to come out.
And this is, by the way, even worse than the numbers suggest, because keep in mind, Xvoto is courting the crowd that will never support them. Sure, they maybe will actually press the like on the YouTube video once in a blue moon. Sure, they will maybe even wishlist it on Steam. But the reality is, all of those people are just virtue signaling. They're never gonna support the title in the first place. All those people who wishlisted Ex Voto are not buying it. Not even 10% of those people are probably gonna buy it. Ex Voto is gonna maybe release to 3 to 5k concurrent players. Well, actually, maybe more. I don't know. I haven't heard or checked in on it for a while, but it seems like it's gonna be that level of disaster because obviously, like I look at it and I want to puke. Everyone normal looks at it and thinks, "Wow, this is shit," because it's obvious. It's right there, staring us in the face.
And it's got way more momentum behind it. And I'm really glad that the team behind Snipe Path isn't rushing to get it done. They are not worried about, oh my gosh, we're getting so much attention on social media. We need to go, go, go as fast as we can. No, they're taking their time. They are making sure it is a fully fleshed out experience, which I give them props for. But they posted this on X. We want to celebrate this beautiful milestone with you 300,000 wish lists. Knight's Path is a game we are making for ourselves, the kind of game we have always wanted to play. It was never designed to chase trends or expectations, which makes seeing it resonate with so many of you even more heartwarming and
Sounds good, but as always, boys, never pre-order.
incredibly meaningful to us. We made a conscious decision to remain fully independent so we would never have to compromise our vision. We declined publishing offers and even donations, choosing to stay 100% independent, small team driven, purely by passion. At the same time, we started hearing from people who felt the same way. The exposure, love, and support you showed this project reached far beyond wish lists. Talented voice actors, modelers, and more reached out on their own simply because they believed in the vision and were passionate enough to want to be part of it. We are incredibly grateful for that, and we do not take it for granted. Because of you, Knight's Path is in its strongest place it has ever been. All of us, let's focus on what truly matters, taking the time, care, and effort to make the best game we possibly can. And it says thank you, 300,000 wish lists, which is crazy to see because just a few weeks ago they were
Imagine, this is like a small studio, a very limited amount of people. Even if 1/3, 100k people buy this, and how much is this gonna be? Let's be real, like $30, $40, or something like that. Probably not gonna go past that. But imagine this is $40. $40, 100 million people buy that. That's 4 million made. Okay, before obviously Steam's cut and everything else. That is a lot of money, probably, and they would probably be also making instantaneous profit from that because if it's truly a small team, then well, you have already probably won. Unlike Xmoto that has already lost because even the people who say are gonna buy it never actually buy it. That's the problem with the Wokies. They just virtue signal. They're never gonna put their mouth where the money should be. Or the other way around. Pick one, I don't honestly care. In any case, they will never financially support it. This is why most of their things just fail and burn, because there is actually no real support.
not even at 100,000, and now they have far surpassed that, which the 1348 ex voto social media manager and really the development team that Knight's Path was getting so much attention must be seething behind the scenes, because on January 23rd they had said that they passed 100,000 wish lists, which I personally didn't believe based on the information that
Yeah, again, it doesn't seem believable. You're telling me this Vogue Fiesta sprang out of nowhere and it's magically at 100k wish lists? The modern audience does not surpass currently, at least on Twitter, like 50k views on a post unless people are making fun of it. I have seen the current. I'm following, in fact, the current modern trends of Twitter, and Vogue posts or DEI things of nature don't typically get more than 50k views
I had in the information that was publicly available, we saw about a 300 position difference between 1348 Ex Voto and Knight's Path on the Steam most wishlisted charts. It seemed that the developers or social media manager behind Ex Voto, they were lying to try to make it seem like they were doing so much better. But now that nobody's really talking about them and marking the release date on their modern agendas, things are looking rough. They have been posting on social media a
Yeah, like, look at this. 12K followers. Impressive, said no one.
little bit, but the last thing they reposted was February 3rd, February 5th, February 2nd, and then that was sort of it. They took a little bit of a break. On January 30th, they had
Yeah, so I don't know what this is, but this looks like the CGI face scanning thing. Oh boy, man. Why does every woke shit game always do this with the actress model or whatever you want to call it for the facial scans to be some kind of insane activist?
posted with like Jennifer English, who does voice one of their main characters, which I guess is cool for them. But is this just going to be a successful game? I don't necessarily think so. And given they needed to stir up some controversy, just highlights how few modern audience members were interested in this in the first place. And that's what's so hilarious about the situation is a game that clearly panders to a certain group, in this case, the modern
How have these people not figured out that the modern audience does not give money? It exists on a purely metaphorical level, and it will never engage in monetary help. How have so many? How is it possible that so really many game developers and whatnot have decided? You know what? Let's bank everything we have, our future, our well-being, our everything, on this magical group of people that don't really exist and have never actually shown themselves in reality. Let's do that. How do they do this?
agenda lovers and the modern audience, well, those people's game doesn't seem to be doing good, whereas Knight's Path really does just cater to everybody because they're saying they don't want it to be political, so anybody should be able to enjoy it. They are reaping success based on their stance, which I think is just so wonderful to see. And I love being able to talk about indie games thriving. And ultimately, yes, I do get quite a bit of joy from the lunatic lefties on social media losing because I would, in theory, love for everybody to be able to find success and find their own audience. But these people,
No, everyone does not deserve success. Everyone does not deserve good things. There are people who flat out deserve bad things, and this is one of those examples. This is something that does not deserve, in fact, any success. It deserves all the worst things imaginable, in fact. Very simple.
have come into our entertainment space, they have destroyed it, and then they act like everybody needs to buy their products or else you're a bigot, sexist, insert insult here, which is insane. And in the case of 1348 Ex Voto, the media was already saying, whoa, because it's got a strong independent lesbian knight as the lead. If you don't play this, you are clearly homophobic. And well, I don't take offense to any of these labels anymore. I just want the best game to succeed. And sure, sometimes games are not for me. Maybe 1348 will come out and do really well. I suppose that's great for the people who are excited for it, but it doesn't look like
Not happening.
that's going to be the case. And it seems that this is going to be another game that's going to release, probably top out at like 5,000 players, maybe 10,000, like absolute maximum.
At this point, it's just Burnout City. The topping out at 10,000 does not seem reasonable at this point, okay? Absolutely not. 5K, even, honestly, probably is going to be a slight struggle here. But man, yeah. There's no audiences, there's no one buying, there's no one believing this garbage, and they just keep on pushing it for some reason. I'm not going to buy it, no one's going to buy it.
which I don't know if that's going to be considered successful for them given they've paid people like Jennifer English to work on their experience. Now, I like to be a positive Polly, so I would like to sit here and say I hope companies learn from this situation, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Do I genuinely believe that developers and social media managers and publishers are going to go, you know what, maybe we shouldn't attack each other on social media and we should all be nice to each other? That's not going to happen because they don't know how to play nice with anybody who is outside of.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Actually, I like it when they try to attack us and spaz out and things like that because they instantaneously just show who they are and what they are all about. And they make it so that we do not need to actually search for these people. One of the worst things that happened in gaming was the fact that these people hid themselves among us. But now they're out in the open, and we just instantaneously know who to support and who to not support because it's sadly blatantly visible who is for good things and who is an absolute cretin and fake. And there you go. This is one of those cases where it's clear it's going to be a disaster, and it is absolutely fake. Anyway, that was very dark 10 out of 10. Bye.